Hello everyone. Just felt like, for once, filming a video. It's been a while since I've actually filmed something. The last time I actually filmed something for myself was when I moved into this apartment about 3 months ago. It's been a long, rough week. Thankfully, 3-day weekend this weekend, Labor Day. Looking forward to that, but at the same time, this week was so rough that it kind of like made me want to film a video today. Kind of just talking about like what I've been up to. I really have talked a lot about this move for a long time, and now that it's been 3 months, I feel like I owe myself specifically an explanation on how it's been going, especially because I know for sure in the future I will want to know like kind of how I felt and kind of have like documented thoughts on the whole thing. So yeah, like I said, it's been about 3 months since I've moved in. I moved in June 10th, I believe. And then I didn't start working until June 16th. And today is August 29th. It's also like 11:23 right now. So I just wanted to talk about kind of like how everything's been going. And yeah, so the way that I see it, I can kind of split this video up into 3 different parts. The first of which I can talk about Connecticut, just Connecticut in general, what it's like to live here compared to living in Florida. The second of which is my job, how my job is going. I can't talk too much about my job though, just because of the nature of my job, but regardless, I feel like the actual technical details of my job aren't really that important. So, and then the third of which is my social life, what do I do outside of work. And yeah, so I guess we can start off with Connecticut. I will say I thought Connecticut would be worse than it actually is. Yeah, it's true, there's like not really anything to do here, especially compared to Orlando, but it's really not that bad. Actually, if I had to say one really good thing about Connecticut, it's the weather. The weather here is, I think, hold on. I think because it's summer, the weather is really amazing. For context, I live literally 5 minutes from the coast. Like, I live right next to a beach. This is the closest I've ever lived to an ocean in my entire life, ironically enough, coming from Florida. But yeah, so that just makes the temperature here and the weather just totally perfect. And in the mornings, actually, this entire week, it's been about like 50. So 50s and like low 60s this entire week. And so it's really nice. The weather's amazing. And I'm really excited for autumn when the leaves actually turn brown, because I've never experienced that in my entire life. I'm just used to green. But then like when it comes to like things to do, not a lot of things to do. Obviously, as you can imagine, it's Connecticut. Like, it's a tiny state. And I found out that Connecticut kind of has a reputation up here in the Northeast for being just a highway between New York and Boston. So not much to do here. I live a very quiet life now, is kind of how I'll frame it. Yeah, not too many bad things to say about Connecticut. I feel like if it comes to like the state itself, it's really not that bad. Very beautiful state, a lot of history behind it. And I feel like in general, this state just seems cleaner, more well kept. I don't know, it's like less rough around the edges, I feel. And so, yeah, my job is, it's going. First off, I am really lucky and very privileged, because this is probably the most financially, like, I've never done better financially in my entire life. I'm very well off. I get paid very adequately. I live a very comfortable life. I'm able to live by myself in a nice apartment in a nice area too. I kind of live in a sort of, I wouldn't necessarily call it a wealthy neighborhood, but I live like right on the coast. So, but when it comes to actually like my day-to-day job, it's totally average. Honestly, it's kind of boring. I'm learning a lot though, because I got put on projects where I am completely new to a lot of the concepts that are in the project. But it's just like, I don't know, soul draining, to put it frankly. It's like a soul-sucking, just desk cubicle job in like the most depressing cubicle ever. The office workspace isn't really one to evoke a lot of emotion. I like to joke with my friends that it looks like the office that Mr. Incredible sat in when he was an insurance agent. Kind of the vibe. Very, very depressing, I think. Just set a cube at a desk at my computer for 8 hours a day. The work is interesting, at least, but I don't know, I can't help but like think like, is this really how I'm spending my 20s? Like, I had such a colorful and exciting college life, and this is what I worked my ass off for. But yeah, so that's my job. But I will say, the work that I do for the pay that I'm getting is pretty good. Like I said, I'm very lucky. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And then finally, my social life, I don't have one. I get along with my coworkers really well. They're all extremely friendly and they're all very kind. Yeah, we've hung out a couple times after work, like to get dinner, or there's a casino close by, so to go to the casino. But other than that, not really much of anything else. Usually when I get home from work, I typically just sit on my couch and just watch YouTube and anime all day. I'll cook for myself, I'll make a nice meal for myself, which has been nice. I've been learning how to cook while I'm here. I have never been so consistently watching episodes of animes that are airing like live. I know the anime schedule, and I look forward to Tuesdays, and I look forward to Fridays and Saturdays and whatever. If I'm not watching anime on YouTube, then I'm climbing, and climbing has a whole thing behind it. Climbing, when I was in Orlando, was pretty much my personality. That's when I had the most fun. It was an excuse for me to hang out with my friends and like in my body moving, whatever. I would spend 3 to 4 times a week climbing. And it really helps that I only live like 25 minutes from a climbing gym. All of my friends go to the same climbing gym, but now my climbing gym is an hour away. So if I want to go climbing, I drive an hour, I climb for 2 hours, and I drive home an hour. So I spend 4 hours out of my day just to climb. I already worked 8 hours, and then I do another 4 hours just to climb. And then by the time I get home, I gotta go to bed. Obviously I don't have a climbing group yet, so I kind of just go to climb by myself, which is completely different from if you have like a climbing friend group. Like those are two completely different experiences, because back in Orlando, my climbing sessions were more like hangout sessions where you would just talk for hours and you catch up with your friends, tell them what you did that day, and talk about whatever. But then now when I go climbing, it's like literally to climb. That's great and all, but it's made me realize honestly that I like climbing for the social aspect. I honestly don't really have a drive, like that strong of a drive to get better at climbing. I just love hanging out with people and just chit-chatting while climbing. It's just a really nice thing to do to socialize. And yeah, I see the same people at the climbing gym every time I go. I go like twice a week. But I don't know, climbing has just been like less enjoyable now because I don't have a climbing friend group. I don't have climber friends. And then I also have to drive so far just to go climbing. And so every single time I want to go climbing, it's a huge commitment. And so, which makes like off days even worse, because, when I was in Orlando, I had off days all the time. And it wouldn't really be that big of a deal, because even if I had an off day, I would still socialize, and it was only 20 minutes away. But now if I have an off day, it fucking sucks, because I drove 2 hours total to get to the climbing gym and back. And then I have an off day, and I didn't socialize with anyone either. And so that's a lot more frustrating compared to an off day in Orlando. So yeah, so honestly, I've been looking for other sports to do that are closer. I'm thinking of getting into water sports because I live on the coast. So that's kind of what's available to me. I kind of want to get back into dragon boating or into rowing. But yeah, that was a very quick summary of kind of like how I'm doing. I think to myself all the time if I made the right decision by moving, and this is kind of how I see it. I think if I want to think about like immediate happiness, then I made the wrong decision. I was definitely happier in Orlando than I am here right now. Like, yes, I have money, and yes, I have freedom, and I have independence, and I live in my own place, but I feel like the joy of having friends around you and like being able to spontaneously schedule things, to just spontaneously do things, like eat out, or like go to a mall, or go somewhere, or go climbing. I feel like those are all things that I really took for granted, and those are the things that I kind of miss the most. Of course, like my family and my girlfriend, kind of being near everyone that I love and stuff like that. So that's kind of like short term, I made the wrong decision, but I do think that in the long run, I think I made the right choice. I think choosing the job that I chose will give me a better chance at getting to where I want to be in a few years. I also feel like I wouldn't have grown as much. I think like my growth ceiling would have been shorter had I stayed in Orlando compared to if I were to move. Specifically, I've always wanted to move to the Northeast. I don't know, I've always been drawn to the Northeast. And so part of me choosing this and moving away is kind of just because I wanted to take that step and to leave, to take the risk and leave. I knew, and I'm feeling it now, it's painful. It's a painful move, it's the painful first step, but I'm fully convinced. In the long run, I think that this was the right choice. Yeah, I think I'm just kind of feeling the short-term suckiness of it. I am convinced, and I admit I am convincing myself that it was worth it, and that this would be like the first step of many that would get me to where I want to be in a few years. Especially because me and Jolie would like to move in together to New York. At least I'm kind of staging myself and getting myself ready for that. I hope everyone else is doing really well. I try not to be on Instagram too much, especially now, because now I just, for the first like 2 months, I just felt extreme FOMO. You know, just being on my Instagram and everyone's in Florida. But because I work in a workspace that is very secure, so I can't even have my phone on me, I don't really use Instagram that much anymore. I'll like post occasionally and I'll look here and there, but I definitely don't doom scroll as much as I used to. And I think it's really helped. I will say that one of my like biggest focuses is maintaining the relationships that I have with those that I love back home in Orlando. I think it is inevitable that I will drift apart from people. It's just, there's like nothing you can do. Like being this far away from everyone, it's gonna be hard to maintain the same relationship that I had with them, with everyone. But I really want to try my best to kind of maintain that relationship. And Cody put it best when he visited me, actually. I want my relationship with everyone to be at a place where I could comfortably call them and not worry if like, oh, I haven't called them in ages or I haven't talked to them in so long. I want to be at a point where I can call anyone and not feel afraid that they would be bothered by me calling. And I want them to feel the same in the reverse. So I want them to feel like they can call me whenever. Anyways, I think I rambled, but that's kind of how I've been overall. Could be better, but I'm hopeful for the future. So, and kind of where my life is going to go from here. So it'll only go up. It'll only go up. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'm hoping that I can kind of make videos more consistently for myself, really, mainly, because I know that I'm going to look back on these and kind of want to know kind of what was going through my head at the time. Hope you guys are all doing well, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.